So Glastonbury, the UK's flagship music festival, huge. There's nothing like it in the country. I doubt there's anything like it worldwide.
Hmm.
And the full lineup's now been announced. It's the time of year when people who have previously maybe said, "Oh, that lineup's not that great," now sees that there's definitely something there that they would fight at. There's
It's
something for
always the
everyone.
case, isn't it? There's
Mm.
like, whether the headliners aren't for you, and I'm speaking as someone who has never been to Glastonbury, however much I have always wanted to, I never got tickets, but that's fine, and I am fine with it. Um, there's there's always like, people kind of bitch and moan about it, don't they? And then when the full lineup comes out, you realize that, oh, it's the biggest, most sort of acclaimed music festival in the world for a reason, because the pull is massive, and they can pretty much book whoever they want, um, except for Nadine Shah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that now then. So Nadine Shah today, I think it was today she's tweeted, because
Yeah.
I think she was almost certainly playing or on the E Festival lineups. They kind of had her down as playing, and
Hmm.
it turns down she's turned down the slot. Turns out she's turned down the slot at Glastonbury
Yeah.
because she said basically it's unaffordable to play. Now Glastonbury is famous for not paying as much as other festivals do to get the artists because the
Yeah.
pull is already there. You don't need a financial lure because it's Glastonbury. However, if it's got to the point where bands can't
Well, I
afford to
think
play,
her point was that she hadn't, or her and her band hadn't been offered a televised
yeah,
stage,
mm,
which means that you're very limited then in your exposure, I
yeah,
suppose. And I know that exposure doesn't pay the heating bills or put petrol
mm,
in the tour van, but it does have kind of a value to it. And especially something like Glastonbury, which is watched, the world over. It's not just
mm,
me sat at my desk on a Friday at work when I should be doing stuff, watching all the different stages.
yeah,
I'm personally, because I have never been able to get tickets, I always make a sort of point of just watching as much of it as I can every week. Sorry, the weekend that it's on. And I can understand it. It's times are
mm.
tough, and it is especially tough to be a touring musician. And fair play to Nadine Shah for kind of taking that stand. I did see an NME article sort of covering that story, which had a
Mm.
reply from her underneath saying, "You've called me Nadine Shaw." Like, come on, NME, what are you doing?
Wasn't
Sort it
Trendle, was
out.
it? You would,
I don't know.
was
I'm
it
not
Andrew?
sure.
Yeah.
It was just sort of a bit of a example of how crap the enemy is these days, I think.
I do like Andrew Trendle to be fair, but yeah, I know what you mean. But Nadine Shah, I probably phrased it wrong in the sense that she was talking not about it being unaffordable, more about the value of the slot compared to the sort of
Yeah.
value for money of the slot, wasn't it? I'm not sure how much she was maybe not happy about not getting that slot in a way, and has she turned it down based on that? Because I've never heard of this happen before.
No, it's not something that I have been aware of before. But then I don't think up to this point, touring as a musician or an artist has been as expensive as it is
Yeah.
right now. So, without sort of having a look at her bank account, yeah, I suppose you can't really say one way or the other, but she's often very sort of outspoken on things like this. And I think
Yeah.
that she is definitely someone I would be inclined to believe when it comes to what she's
Yeah.
saying about this sort of thing.
Yeah. She's and I think she's played it before, hasn't she? I think it
Oh,
was
she would have done it
yeah.
numerous
So I
times, I'm sure.
yeah, so if it was maybe her first time, she might not have done this, but yeah, I suppose it could be the first of many coming down the line if things don't change in terms of affordability.
Yeah, and I think she's in the middle of an album campaign, which was a really good album. I really enjoyed it, but albums are not cheap,
Mm,
and you got to make your money where you can, I suppose.
yeah, no, definitely. So I'm just having a look at the bands that have been announced. Then,
Yeah.
just going down the lineup. There's just so much, so much to go at. A couple of surprises. Your mate Jamie Webster's on the second stage, opening the
Is
Saturday.
he is he actually?
11:45 on the Saturday, Jamie Webster.
Wow.
I think
That is
they've handed a
laughable,
few
isn't it?
sort of indie slots out because Rachel Chinnery has got a good slot on the Sunday,
Hmm.
and the Snuts which I think
Oh yeah,
deservedly
that's
so.
not so all right.
They've
Yeah.
got a slot on the other stage, and Idols are headlining the other
Yeah,
stage.
Friday night. If I were there, I would be at Dua Lipa probably, or Jungle, or Jamie XX, or Fontaine's DC. There's just so much of it.
That is ridiculous. So there
Yeah,
are all the headliners on at the same time.
yeah.
That's silly. And then the bootleg Beatles, you missed them off on the acoustic
Bootleg
stage.
Beatles. I have seen the Bootleg Beatles before. They put on a good show,
Yeah, Skindred, Billy Bragg. There's just so many big names, and that's just one
and
slot.
that's
So
just Friday night.
you could choose one of those to watch because the stages tend to be so far apart that you
You're
kind of
not going
have
to
to
get
pick
to
your
both,
lane.
are you?
Yeah. Well, the year I went, it was a heat wave, and like it was a proper heat wave. It was
Mm,
I think it's 2019, and it was even more so that you had to pick your lane and stick because walking
yeah.
around they'd like run out of water in certain areas, and it was getting ridiculous. But
But
yeah,
there's just some amazing stuff on there. You know, like, even staying on that Friday, you've got Squid. There's No Name. PJ Harvey. That's like massive.
yeah,
Bombay Bicycle Club. I'm not a huge fan, but they are a big band. Arlo Parks, Lambrini Girls, Declan McKenna doing his terrible album probably. Um,
but
this
you
is
look
the
at the
kit.
park stage as well. You've got. I feel like they've handed out a lot of slots to newer artists that maybe wouldn't
Mhm.
have got them in the last couple of years because you've got likes of Bar Italia, who
Yes,
even
Bar
though they're
Italia
playing
are a
small
cracking
stuff.
band. I saw them a few weeks ago at Band on the Wall. They've recently put some new music out, which we'll touch on
Yeah,
later.
Lime
Um,
Garden, Problem Patterns. You've
Lime
got
Garden, great band. Yeah, Problem Patterns are great as well.
just
Problem Patterns won the competition for the slot. It was like that Battle of the Bands thing that they did.
oh yeah,
Problem
we
Patterns won
discussed
it.
it, didn't we,
Yeah, I think we did.
on the
And
yeah.
then even moving to Saturday, Michael Kiwanuka, Little Sims, what a back to back that is. Unfortunately, sandwiched between Keane and Coldplay, which is probably the most boring part of the entire thing. And then you keep going down. You've got Block Party, The Last Dinner Party, The Streets, uh, Sleeper Mods, Yard Act, Fat White Family, Mannequin Pussy, Soccer Mummy. There's just like the pull that they've got is insane. New
Yeah,
Model Army, BC Camp Light. It's just like endless. English Teacher, Billy No Mates. You can kind of pull any stage at any day, and there's like two or three, if not four or five, really strong bands.
yeah. And Paul Heaton's got a Friday not headline, pyramid stage slot, which means he's currently touring with Rianne Downey, who's sort of a really small up and coming Scottish singer who's getting quite a lot of opportunities because of him. So she'll get to play the pyramid stage,
Oh,
which
cool.
is which is massive. A few slots that are now touted for secret sets. So the obvious one is TBA on Woodsies, I think it is. So we're gonna
Saturday night before Yard Act.
yes, yeah. So
Um, I had heard tell on Twitter that it could be someone like Paramore because they are in the country with Taylor Swift in the next few weeks,
yeah,
and they they seem like the sort of band that are kind of right. They're like a big band anyway. They've got a big sort of fan base. Everyone knows Paramore, and also they're kind of just sort of peaking at the right time for it.
yeah.
Have you seen any other sort of names touted around for it?
Well, my personal thoughts were Green Day and Catfish. Green
Oh
Day are
yeah,
playing Old Trafford next week or the week after.
right.
So they're likely to be around somewhere, maybe in
Hmm.
Europe, but I don't know. Um, but William Hill have suspended betting on Kasabian being
Oh, okay. Oh well,
which
they've got new
means
music coming as well, haven't they? They're kind of starting that new cycle. That makes
yeah.
sense.
And when they suspend betting, that basically means that a load of people have lumped money on it. So whether Serge has been telling his mates, whether like Lucas Paqueta had Paqueta Island, where these
Yeah,
bets
yeah,
were
yeah. I've been
infamously got
reading about
banned.
that this
If
week.
if all these bets at William Hill have been placed in Leicester or Colville, the outskirts, will
Yeah, yeah.
that would be a bit of suspicion. But yeah, Catfish could be a
I
next
don't
shout
know. I
for a secret
feel
set.
like they're not big enough, regardless
Oh,
of
they are.
of kind of
They are.
my personal thoughts on Catfish. They've kind of they've got like an established fan base of people who really like the band, but I don't think they've got the same universal or wider appeal as
Mm.
your Kasabians and your Paramores and your Green Days.
No, 100%. They're definitely a rung below the ones we just suggested, but
Mm,
I'm just thinking with the whole hype around this new
Have they
comeback and
played any
things.
shows yet since
They've just
come back?
announced a load, haven't they? I don't think
But they haven't
they've
played
played
anything
any.
yet.
No, no, not that I'm
I
aware of.
feel like that takes some bollocks to make your first show back the Glastonbury secret slot. But
Yeah,
I suppose that, in and of itself is quite a big thing, to make that sort of your first thing back. I don't know. Maybe someone like Johnny Marr, I wouldn't be surprised to see him crop up somewhere.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. There'll be a
yeah,
couple of I reckon there'll be a couple of collaborations as well, like special guests, because Blossoms have done it the last couple of years where they had Mel C, and then they
and
did the
Rick
surprise
Astley.
set with Rick Astley, and
Yeah.
I think that went down really well. So I think Glastonbury will probably be pushing for things like that to happen.
And Dave Grohl was in every other set, wasn't he? Just cropping up, playing guitar and playing drums on kind of anyone and everyone.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
what loose articles were saying, wasn't it? Abby was saying that they knew that the secret set was happening because obviously they told them
oh,
that the
that was it. They
support
had
slot
planned
was
to do
happening.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, that's happening. The K's as well. I've just noticed they're a small
Oof.
band from Earlstown.
Yeah, I'm not a Case fan, I'll be honest with you.
No, I know. I'm just thinking in
Um,
terms of the size of the like slot. It's good to get a Glastonbury slot is
yeah,
huge.
there's good stuff on there. You've got like Fat Dog as well, who are a band I'm really into. Bob Villain headlining Left Field on Sunday. Um,
Yeah,
there's
left
just
field's Billy
like
Bragg stage, isn't it? So,
yeah, there's just so much of it, and I am very jealous of anyone who is who is going.
yeah, then if anyone is lucky enough to get tickets, it's such a good festival. And like I said, the gap between that and anything else is just so large. I'm
Oh yeah,
surprised. Yeah, it's just this. It's not just the music. I know it's cliche. My
it's
mate
music and
always.
culture, isn't it?
It's everything. It's just like different. Just embrace. Like we talked about being escapism, didn't we, in the last
Mm.
episode? And it's
It
just
feels like
like
it's the
you're in
best
your own.
best place for it, I suppose, as well.